Richard Doty. Richard Doty.
But I'm ready to go on. I really want to hear what Doty has to say.
In the world, here we've run straight into a disinformation agent. And I want to make sure that I've got your name, I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Is it Richard Doty? Richard,
It's even said, I think it came through Doty.
Try and remember, I'm no Doty fan either. They said, hey, is Richard Doty involved in this? Did Richard Doty do this?
We were adamant this time that Rick Doty. Unless Rick Doty is one of the greatest novelist writers of the 21st century, it's not him.
The Richard Doty, the first time Richard Doty calls in.
Marion with Benoit, with Doty.
Subsequently made contact with me was AFOSI agent Richard Doty. On the question of Richard Doty and the Falcon might in fact be Doty.
Doty.
UFO whistleblower, we got Rick.
Mr. Doty. Doty. Richard Doty.
Doty's I'm Richard Doty. I'm hired special agent that had worked at Area 51.
Doty works for DIA. He's always worked for them.
Special agent Doty? Didn't say the Richard Doty. If good friends like Rick Doty. Richard Doty, famous DIA liar. Doty, I talked to Rick and
Richard Doty.
Air Force Office of Special Investigation, Kirtland Air Force Base, by an intelligence operative named Richard Doty.
Example, 1983, the proven disinformation agent, Richard Doty.
Richard Doty admittedly made up story. Richard Doty and
With Richard Doty. I believe there's the Falcon. It turned out to be a gentleman named Richard Doty.
Richard Doty.
Go Crazy by Rick Doty, who was working for the DIA and may also be a CIA contractor.
April 9, 1983, that I was sitting in that office at Kirtland Air Force Base with Air Force Office Special Investigations Agent Richard C. Doty.
U.S. Air Force Sergeant Richard C. Doty.
Know who Rick Doty is?
Doty has told people. Richard Doty, I think, is part of that crew.
How do we know it wasn't a Richard Doty?
Richard Doty that told lies about aliens, UFO.
On the air with Greg Bishop and Richard Doty. Hi.
Or by Rick Doty.
Oh, hey, Rick Doty. Guess what? You motherfuckers know about Rick Doty.
Doty fucking had her wrapped around his skirt.
Doty on hand. I need to
Richard Doty. And a very mysterious, very enigmatic, very controversial Richard Doty.
And Doty.
Doty met Rick Doty.
I've gotten a corroboration from Mr. Rick Doty. My question is for Mr. Doty. Mr. Doty's curious about
Doty. Me, I'll hang out with Doty any day.
you ask Richard Doty out, and I asked my wife, like, what would you ask Richard Doty out? And she said, what keeps him up at night?